Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our fifth and final game for today for 2017's Rift Rivals, of course, featuring the Garena Premier League, the LOL Japan League, as well as the Oceania Pro League. Of course, before anything else, we're going to be introducing ourselves as this Arctic at your service, fam, your first caster. And of course, your second caster for today is going to be the Mighty Vulcan.
So, good evening to everyone, and we hope you are enjoying the first day of the Rift Rivals, where we pit regionals against each other to test who is the better one for eternal glory and bragging rights. But right now, on to the schedule to see that it would be Detonation Focus Me against Ascension Gaming of GPL.
Yeah, there we go. So, you know, very crucial. Again, like we mentioned, every point counts if you ever want your shot at glory to emerge to the top region out of the three here. So, this will be very definitive here.
Well, this is the first Rift Rivals, so you want to make a good first impression and a good first run in this, I would say, the most player-centric. It's for the pro players itself, because it gives them a chance to meet other players internationally and then test themselves with like the opportunities at stake, because normally players right now wouldn't be fighting like this because of the seedings and whatnot. They would not be qualifying, but right now they get the chance to do this. But right now, let's go straight to the drafting phase to see how things turn out for Detonation Focus Me on the blue side, where Ascension Gaming would be on the red side.
Yeah, there you go. So, of course, the bans right off the bat for Detonation Focus Me, they're going to be taking away the Callista from Lloyd, as well as the Elise from Uni, while the Zac as well. You know, 100% ban rate pretty much on this Zac as well as pretty much anticipating the Galio as well. The Zig's going to be taken away from Detonation Focus Me. Saros actually performed on the sticks despite that. Yeah, I mean, regardless. So,
well, this is going to be the opening statements for Detonation Focus Me. Well, this is a really rare opportunity for all teams to actually participate, because, as I said, normally it would be very difficult to actually play with one of these teams who are actually well known, especially for LJL. They are the really newer teams, the younger teams entering the League of Legends community. But right now, on to the drafting. The first one is completed. We see bans on the Callista, Elise, a Galio ban, whereas Ascension Gaming prioritized the Zac, the Ziggs, and the Caitlyn.
And yeah, I mean, so looks like the Rek'Sai actually going to be taken for Detonation Focus Me. You know, we have been championing how this Rek'Sai with the rework might not necessarily be the tanky queen that she was before, but makes up for it by the element of surprise with the reworks that they've done on her ultimate. So looks like Steel might actually be showing us some moves here if he could maneuver around the Queen of the Sursai. But yeah, the Thresh as well going to be locked in for Warlock. Of course, Warlock, one of those support players that we've been championing as one of the players that we usually look out for in our own local GPL. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how he'll maneuver around the Thresh, because we have been seeing a lot of great skill shots coming from the supports across the board for our Rift Rivals.
And I loved how Paz played that top Shen once. It was really aggressive, and I love how top players, when they play aggressive, they apply so much pressure and in the end contribute so much for their team. But right now we're going to be seeing a hover on the top catch. Detonation Focus Me has yet to secure their top lane, whereas they will be going for the Braum support.
Okay, there we go. And looks like Krakus. So yeah, Braum support going to be locked in. So, and now the Ashe as well. That'll actually make a great combination, not just as far as in-game, mechanically speaking, with the synergy, but also in terms of storyline as well. You know, Ashe and Braum, they're kind of allies in this. So regardless,
also a really good combo, because there's the slow from the Ashe's passive, and also the Braum's concussive blows, which gives the ADC a free stun. I gotta say, that combo looks very scary, and I think Ascension Gaming has some counterplay, I would say, but a Thresh is not enough, but they would be picking up that Varus.
Yeah, there we go. So it looks like both sides, you know, I really like the trend here. Most of the common trend is that we're seeing pick for pick matchups, but we haven't really seen as many proactive movements wherein they more so for the priority as to not reveal as much. Like earlier for the squad that came from, if I'm not mistaken, that was the Mineski game earlier, against one of the Japan squad, wherein they had so much confidence in that Syndra that they took it right off the bat within the first rotation. So, but for most of the other games, you know, well, for a lot of competitive games in general, not just for our region, but for others as well, it's the same trend, you know, jungler support, AD carry being taken within the first rotation. So, but we'll just have to see how that translates, though, as the Shen and Fiora.
Oh, I really love the bans coming from Ascension Gaming, focusing on to Pass and to Saris' Ziggs is somehow picked up ban in today's Rift Herald of Day 1. But for Ascension Gaming, they will be banning out, let's see, finalizing the top lanes, of course. But for Detonation Focus Me, I wonder, they are taking away that Syndra that G4 is very efficient on, but the cannon is more of a meta ban.
Yeah, exactly. And I really like how 3 top laners were actually banned. 3 very efficient top laners, actually. Shen, Fiora, and Kennen. So we might actually be seeing, so there we go, actually the Jarvan the 4th going to be locked in for Ascension Gaming here. Potentially still a hover actually, but we'll be changing over to the Renekton. We'll lock in indeed. Looks like we will be seeing some Crocodile not sure what he is.
Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah, there we go. Crocodile action in the top lane for Renren here.
And Mutafon will be going on that Ashe, whereas Saros might go on that Corki. I wonder for Detonation Focus Me, who will they prioritize for their mid laner? Patch 7.12 is the patch where Corki did get this really nice buff, but I don't think it's enough for him to come back in the competitive scene because he tends to lack because of his itemization is very expensive.
Indeed. So there we go. Detonation Focus Me really trying to figure out. Looks like instead they'll be taking the Jarvan the 4th themselves that was hovered over.
I wonder if that's a good choice for the blue side because Renekton against the Jarvan. Renekton really has a really powerful sustain and more tools to escape, but let's see, it's more of a skilled matchup.
Agreed. So I'm really interested in seeing how Ascension Gaming will be locking in this composition here. We're get to see mid laner, you know, just what G4 will be using. Well, actually, across the board for Ascension Gaming, they actually have a lot of superstars here. But looks like the Orianna, you know, we've been seeing a lot of this Orianna for the red side here. It's almost like a go-to pick for most of the people that end up on the red, but regardless, looks like we do have our compositions locked in for both Detonation Focus Me and Ascension Gaming. So with all locked in, with all said and done, who do you guys think? Of course, let us know in the chat who you guys are rooting for. Do you guys want to see Detonation Focus Me of the LJL take it for their region, or is it going to be Ascension Gaming that will pull things forward for the GPL? There we go.
Things are looking pretty good for both teams. The drafting phase is complete. So it's up to how they will perform in the lanes and the jungles. We'll see once we load up onto the Rift.
So
right on the schedule to see what's coming up next would be obviously the last game of today's first day of the Rift Heralds. LJL Detonation Focus Me against GPL's Ascension Gaming. We'll be seeing the results and how the second seed from both regions will play it out.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very interesting. Of course, you know, this last matchup right here would really set things for both the GPL region and the LJL region. Unfortunately, the LJL suffering. And there you have it, folks. Looks like we'll have to hold that thought right there as we head into our 5th and final game. Once again, for Rift Rivals, of course, this is going to be Detonation Focus Me of the LJL versus Ascension Gaming of the GPL, both coming off as the second seed for their respective regions, but only one can emerge victorious as we head into the Rift. 5th and final game, let's go!
Let's see how they will dictate the standings. This is going to be a really good first impression to see which team is really powerful enough to make it up top for glory, bragging rights, and also send a message to all the regions out there that I am the top dog.
Yeah, I like the music coming there from YouTube on that app. Really good jam. I'm kind of sad that he stopped that, but regardless. Anyways, going into this game right now, very interesting. I really like how we've been seeing a lot more Corki here in these recent games because with very good reason, because Corki definitely much more optimal than he was before with the recent changes that they made to him. But nonetheless, everything's safe and sound. Again, I feel like this is gonna be another one of those scenarios wherein it's gonna be one of those calm before the storm type of things. But then again, I feel like things are a little bit more explosive with what kits they have right now. But then again, it all comes down to how both sides, especially the junglers, play things out.
Especially how the laners will dictate their face, because right now we're seeing that Pass did pick up the Corrupting Potion, a really good start for Jarvan. And for Renren on the Renekton with the Doran Shield, I think this is going to be a very submissive Renekton because it won't be that aggressive than a Doran's Blade Star, but he is going for the long run. He is resourceless. So the really good buff on the Doran Shield will really help him sustain longer, especially he does have the Call of the Meek.
Agreeable indeed. And that being said, looks like action starting off in both sides, for both junglers starting off on the same side of the map. So I'm actually interested in seeing whether or not this will actually translate to a transition gank into both the mid lane or the bot lane, depending on which they decide to go for here.
Well, when it comes to early game damage, leave it to the Jarvan to have the upper hand against the Renekton. The Renekton's true damage unlocks when it's level 3, Jarvan for level 3 for more defensive stat, but when you get pre-6, Jarvan is really strong. But after 6, I think Renekton is going to be really out-damaging Pass, and he has to really determine how will I itemize because he is on that Undying, whereas Renren is on that Fervor of Battle, so I think that caught the attention of Steel. He is going in. Renren gets knocked off. This is the first blood at stake. He gets knocked to the air. I don't think it is safe. Slice and Dice will not cut it out. That will be our first blood for Steel.
Whoa, finally, out of all the games that we've had today, we finally see an earlier on first blood towards the 3-minute mark. And wow, like I mentioned, I was actually somewhat expecting that we'd be seeing a proactive Gan towards the mid or bot, but completely by surprise, prediction thrown out the window, leaning towards the top lane. DFM made the proactive move, and it definitely benefited them.
And DFM gets the first blood, and that's Steel. Again, he did get the first blood in other games, and this is what I love about Steel. He is such a powerful jungler, especially when he's on a Rek'Sai or a Zac. He will be the one to dictate how the game is. We'll see right after the top lane. He goes straight to the mid lane onto G4, popping his heal, popping his flash, but the burn will kill him off. Steel is now 2-0. He is on a roll. He will be rushing that Tiamat, and this is bad news for Ascension Gaming.
I'm very impressed with how Steel has been playing this game thus far. What I really like about this is the fact that his ganks are almost somewhat unexpected. So again, if he keeps this up, this might actually be great momentum for Detonation Focus Me to just really topple over Thailand's representative here.
And for Thailand, they have to really have a firm vision control because Steel, he's right now 2-0 on a Rek'Sai that's level 4. He got so much gold value from all those ganks and giving assist golds to the mid laner Zeros, which will help him a lot. So this is going to be more control for him. And right now, what happened in the bot lane is that Ascension Gaming's dual Lloyd and Warlock, he is on a Thresh, but Vivid's on a Braum. And now we see that Steel is there. But we can also see that Nuni is in the scene.
Oh wow, I actually like the fact that Steel used his ability before actually going for the commit. Because, the short time invested to kind of see what Lloyd and Warlock's reaction would be was a really great scare off there that it actually saved him a bit more time to determine whether or not he should commit to going for a gank or whether he should back. So again, very impressive thought process.
The trade-off from the top lane. Pass really has to chunk down the potion because he is really behind in terms of trade-offs, but he does have the first blood assist, a lead in CS. He did pick up 2 long swords. Might go for Tiamat.
Yeah, there we go. So Tiamat indeed. So good prediction right there. Then very sound start for Jarvan the fourth here in that top lane. Manifesting later on into the game. This would kind of grant him I'm actually interested in how he'll be controlling the lane at this point. Whether or not he'll be going for heavier pushes to translate into rolls.
This is really bad news because if you keep pushing in, this will happen. We see Nooney is right there for the body slam combo and also for the stun with the Ruthless Predator, but he reached level 6. There's the burst from the Cataclysm. Steel is on the scene. Nooney's in big trouble. He flashed away, but the knockup still caught to him. Steel is on a killing spree.
Yeah, that was, no pun intended, that was a pretty good steal for Detonation Focus Me here. I really thought that Ascension had that in the bag, but then again, didn't really manifest anything. Wasn't able to take on Paz fast enough. If anything, Paz himself was pretty painful for Renren to deal with. That, oh man.
And this is bad news for Renmin because when the top laner, especially a Jarvan, gets 2 assists, that's 1 solid kill, and his CS is 56, already has the Tiamat. He might opt for a Black Cleaver next because at this point in time, Renren's Renekton is really... damage output is very low. He is forced to get a Phage. Normally when a Renekton is on lead, he would get a Tiamat to really burst down that Jarvan and push the lane very aggressively, but he can't do that because he's behind in gold.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, quite behind the deed, and this is really manifesting into a great start for Detonation and Focus Me here. That, again, Ascension Gaming really needing to pick up the slack here. Although, technically, we did see a proactive move from Nooney, but the fact that it wasn't as successful, and if anything, only granted Steel and Paz all the more of a overall more of a passing, you know, really getting ahead of their counterparts here. It's just so much that Ascension has to deal with, and we're not even in 10 minutes into the game yet.
Not even 10 minutes into the game, and Steel is already pressuring the top lane. And the bot lane has yet to be ganked in a way that Utapon is actually more rich compared to Lloyd because he has the boost of speed, the Cutlass, the Thorn Shield, and he even had enough gold to get the Control Ward, which is going to be a big deal when it comes to ganking. Ascension Gaming will really have to invest in vision, but right now, Warlock is here, Steel gets hope. Lloyd's Chain of Corruption does not connect. Steel is still alive. Ignited off. 4 members are tailgating him. Steel does have a bounty on his head. Whoever gets it will catch up, and it will be Renren in the top lane.
Oh man, perhaps a little bit of a, how do I put it exactly? Steel overstepping his boundaries a bit. We do know for a fact, sure, he has a great lead, but then again, that was a little bit in too deep and overconfident to a T. That, you know, there wasn't really anyone from Detonation Focus Me that would have gone for a solid response because technically they were fighting on enemy grounds there. So at the end of the day, not really the best move by Steel right there. Whether or not they deters them from their lead thus far, not quite just yet, but then again, they really have to avoid those kind of slip-ups here. Again, they have a great start to this game. You know, you don't really want to spoil it by committing those mistakes that are almost verging on careless to an extent.
So I can see from the shutdown bounties that Renren picked up the boost of speed and the cloth armor. Might go for the Ninja Tabi to really block some of the damage from that passive of the Jarvan because it hurts so much, but leave it to the bounty shared all throughout. Ascension Gaming will catch up slowly, but the 2k gold lead so far is proving a bit too difficult, especially from the junglers, because as we saw Steel overstepping his boundaries, he did get caught really bad there.
So looks like then again, I mean, it's interesting because we were already leaning towards a 2.5 to 3k goalie, but because of that,
oh, Glacier Fish
we have a
bot
fight
lane. Gonna be flash out from Warlock. He does not want to commit. Saros from the mid lane with the package. Ooh, pops his rocket.
That does give the information to Ascension's bot lane that Saros is very well in the vicinity. Looks like G4 will be going for the response.
G4 is there, but the vision will pick him up. He does get spotted in the blue side of their own jungle. Steel is spotted in the red side. What is Renren gonna do? Gonna give the first turret to Pass and Steel. Oh, that is very worth it for Steel. He's gonna get a huge chunk of gold there. 375 gold, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and come to think of it, like, we were already thinking that the Jarvan the 4th versus the Renekton matchup, we were thinking Renren might have been okay, but because of the proactivity coming here from Spill, you know, really reversing into Paz and Steel's favor. But looks like Ascension in exchange will be responding with the Dragon Take, knowing very well that Detonation Focus means
It's like when Ascension Gaming is getting this Cloud Drake in exchange for the first turret. You're still not getting that huge value because let's say okay, Nuni gets the experience, the gold, but DFM, look at that, they get that 100 gold from the Rift Herald shared between them. It was it's just 30, sorry, 25 gold from them, but it's the objective of the Rift Herald that makes it such a good benefit for DFM. In the way that Steel plays, he is already taking down, spawning the Rift Herald, aiming to take down this mid lane outer turret.
And you know what's interesting here is that I like that point that you brought up, because if you're going to look at it, sure, Ascension Gaming was going for that trade-off, knowing that their first trade, they wanted to try to get a trade in the form of the Dragon. It's just that too much information that...
Oh, wow.
The fact that Ascension Gaming's bot lane, rather, was pretty much absent, that was like almost a clear signal that it couldn't have been a recall. It was most likely being a Dragon take. Hey, let's go ahead and take Rift Herald in exchange with that information. So, again, I like how Ascension Gaming is being proactive, really reading situations. It's just that in exchange, they're also giving Detonation Focus Me information through their own movements on the map. And as a result, you know, overall, as far as who's outsmarting too, I definitely say DFM playing it much more better.
Very precise. They know their win conditions. And Steel, I just think he's really powerful in this game so far because he got the first turret. He got the Rift Herald, and then after the Rift Herald, he got a solo kill on that turret. That is 350 gold, and right now his KD is 310. I think he already has 3 solid kills from the objectives he's secured, and now this can entitle him to a rush, straight finish to the Titanic Hydra.
Yeah, definitely.
And he's running a fervor of battle. That is scary. And the execution skill from his ultimate will be more than enough to take down high priority targets like Lloyd or G4. But here comes Lloyd. Thanks to the lantern, he does dodge the crystal arrow.
That was a really good clutch on that lantern coming in from
Steel is spotted in the riverside. Very close call, but he does get spotted by a ward. This is really, I gotta say, DFM, they know what's up.
Yeah, they definitely know what's up indeed in the house, in the neighborhood.
Oh, G4 flashed away, but also flash in by Steel. The knockup for the shockwave will not be enough. He burrowed down like a Diglett, and now a teleport's coming in from the top lane. Pass is there for the assist. Steel with 100% kill participation is very rich right now, and I think Ren really regrets his decision. He's trying to get away with a slice and dice and flashes away, but a drag flag combo will caught him off guard. Pass thinks another way, gets away with a flash instead.
I love that Paz continued that teleport, you know, still really going on full commit, because had he cancelled that teleport, you know, that might have actually been a little bit more painful since Nui was already in the vicinity, and with explosive class, you know, things could have gone south for DFM. So again, good commit there by Paz overall. Looking at the bigger picture, still, Detonation focused me a lot of dictation to the pace of this game, with Ascension Gaming trying to pick up the pace by responding themselves, but so far not really manifesting into anything that will particularly get them back into this game.
Have you seen a Perry dog Arctic?
A Perry dog? I'm not really quite familiar, but do enlighten me.
A Perry dog is like this, a cuter version of a naked mole rat. So in a way, Steel is this really cute Perry dog, but when you get close to a Perry dog, you get rabies. And I think Ascension Gaming is getting poisoned by this Perry dog, and Steel on a Rek'Sai, I gotta say, it's very scary. He has yet to go back, but instead of getting the Titanic Hydra, he went for the Cinderhulk enchantment instead. He is so rich right now. I wish I was in his position.
Yeah, like we're speaking IRL rich here, and even in game, I guess, because you know,
I'm never that rich in game.
Yeah, so sad. One light, one prayer. But anyways, there we go. So 4-1 on the scoreboard right now.
But I think Paz and Steel, they want to give Ren out of business. He's in recession right now. He does not have a flash. He does have the fervor of battle for more damage, but I think this will be a signal back. DFM knows that Nuni is there. He is spotted by the Tremor Sense, and there is a control ward to spot him out. Now the bot lane turret will be taken down by DFM.
I love the resolve that I'm seeing here from Detonation Focus Me again. I'm actually surprised that they're a second seed, because how they've been performing thus far, not only in this game, but even in the previous game that we've watched, they're really doing well. These slower seeds from the LJL. That being said, I mean, at this point, because from what I've been seeing from Ascension Gaming here, I haven't really been seeing any proactive plays to try to get back into this game. If anything, they've been limited to being more responsive to what DFM is doing. So I'm kind of worried for them at this point because they really haven't been making any moves to find windows of
Crystal
opportunity.
Arrow. No one gets hit by it.
It's like
Pretty close call.
Oh
my god.
But here we go. Looks like I love the Paz actually pushing out that top lane right there. This will actually grant him much more opportunity to just kind of let Ascension Gaming respond again.
They are recuperating from that exhausting early game start. They really had a bad start there. Really exhausting because in a way that Steel was all over the place during the first 8 minutes of the game. Got him the first blood, the first turret, and another turret. Really loaded up. He is more defensive instead of going straight for the Titanic Hydra. Very smart of him to go for the Bammy Cinder of enchantment for his jungle item.
And there we go. Looks like Ascension Gaming, you know, really hoping to try to get a push onto that turret. But then again, of course, in exchange, respecting the retaliation potential coming in from Detonation Focus.
Oh, definitely. Pass does have the Cataclysm ready. The flash, though, not yet up, but for Steel, he does have the flash up pretty much soon. And I think DFM, they are willing to trade this Mountain Drake off. And I think that will be a very easy Mountain Drake for DFM, whereas Ascension Gaming did get the first Drake of the game, which was the Cloud Drake.
Indeed. And man, still though, I gotta hand it to Ascension Gaming. The positive that from what I'm seeing here, as far as them not being able to make any proactive plays to counter back into this game, at least the good thing is that, you know, they've been able to maintain it within the 5,000 gold range, not really surpassing it that well towards 6,000, but as far as going superlative, going into the 7 to 10k, which would have made things much more dire, it's there's still a good chance that they could come back. It's just that it's not really in a situation wherein they could just breathe lightly just yet, because so much is going correct, so much working to the favor of Detonation Focus.
For DFM, I don't think they have problems when it comes to map control, because Ascension Gaming, I think they need more vision, especially that Baron's Pit, because it will be up less in 1 minute and 35 seconds. And right now, DFM has the Mountain Drake. The next Drake will be another Mountain Drake. So Ascension Gaming, they did make the same mistake during GPL, where they did not have enough vision in their own territory and objective locations.
Oh man,
Here comes Steel. See.
crazy. But yeah, I mean, one of the things that I feel.
Oh! Look at that dong coming from pass. Very juicy dong. And Vivid picks up the kill. Nooney is down. The arrow! Lloyd with the sidestep dodges that arrow. Steel gets knocked by the shockwave. Flash in from Renwin for the Ruthless Predator. And not enough damage for Steel to get taken down. Pass is there, taking some turret hits. And now it would be Unipon left to damage off for his team, but it would be a really bad start for DFM because Ascension Gaming, they're pretty much healthy. Warlock for the Flame does not connect. Steel is still there for the go in. He tunnels in for a knockup, but he does get locked down by the members of Ascension Gaming. Steel is still alive, very low, but Unipon is there. He picks up the kill. G4 is in kill range. Unipon can't reach that far.
Man, but regardless, those were a lot of casualties suffered by Detonation Focus Me. I mean, I don't think they were quite on the same page as to whether or not they wanted to go for an initiate or not. But still, because of that, you know, Ascension Gaming got pretty lucky getting 3 kills off of that indecisiveness coming in from Detonation Focus Me. But yeah, let's go ahead and check out how that manifested though. I really like this play here coming in from the 3 members of Detonation Focus Me that were together. But then again, this is where things really start to get questionable here. So DFM actually already taking quite the damage coming from Ascension here. And let's say, sure, they are a complete 5, but then again, here we go. This is where I feel like things really went wrong. Paz actually going in. And I feel like at that point, he was in such a very vulnerable position that the rest of the members of DFM were just kind of forced to help him and respond. And that's where things kind of went wrong for them. This is where the casualties just started flowing in for DFM.
Steel was really trying hard to make a play here, but Pax for the flag, really on point.
Yeah.
Did get the kill onto Lloyd.
It did get a kill, but at the end of the day, I feel like he's the one that really caused the casualties in the first place. So regardless, that does narrow down the goal difference. And Ascension Gaming, finally, I wouldn't say it was a proactive play from them. It was more of DFM making the huge mistake, particularly Paz right there, going in and allowing the members of DFM to just continue to go in on them. So regardless, we'll just have to see. Again, hopefully this is not a trend that we'll be seeing from DFM where they make these mistakes, these minor mistakes which leads to casualties and losses for them.
Yeah, it's what's more of value here, the mountain or the cloud. I think DFM says, I think the cloud gives me more money. I'll stick to the cloud, and now the mountain drake will be live in 1 minute and 53 seconds. The Baron is there. DFM already marking their territory.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy here.
And the Peridog is just tunneling in and out. He is going to be channeling and planning his escape, but here comes the two-man glacial fissure. The box is there. Steals in too deep. Teleports coming in from the top lane. Who will be first? There's the explosive cast. Unibot is in a bad position. Red Ring goes in for the kill, for the double kill with the Ruthless Predator, and now Call of the Meek is available. The pass is too in deep. Steel is going to be disengaging from the fight. Pass overcommits, still going out to Nooney. Ren is trying to caught him off guard. Dragon Rage combo will connect for Pass. He does make it out alive.
Whoa, that was actually a 2-for-1 in favor of Ascension Gaming. And this is the tricky part here for Detonation Focus Me. Slowly, Ascension Gaming is making that climb. I don't know what's happening here with Detonation Focus Me at this point. Transitioning into this mid-game, I feel like they're not quite confident or sure of what to do with the lead that they've developed in the early game. That being said, because of these windows of opportunity that happen for Ascension Gaming, it just slowly allows the rest of the members to build up. And it's interesting, look at this right here. It was actually Renwin that was experiencing a lot of the abuse coming in from both Paz and Steel during the early game. But now, look at that KDA. 4-1 and 2 on this Renekton. Really carrying the weight for the rest of the members of Ascension Gaming. And by doing so, it definitely allows windows of opportunity for Nooney, for G4, for Lloyd, to Warlock to really get back into this game.
And he's going for the Titanic Hydra. He did finish it up. He did finish up his Black Cleaver, but when it comes to scaling up, Ascension Gaming does have a really good composition. They have Renrin on that Renekton, G4 on an Oriana. But when it comes to the late game, I think Pass will have a more powerful team clashing tool. It is that Cataclysm. But for Steel, he does have the knockup with his tunnels. When it comes to gold value, I think Renrin's gold value is okay. But when it comes to the 20-30 minute mark, that's going to be diminishing over time because might as well give that to Lloyd or G4.
Yeah, definitely.
But I guess from that teleport play, he did sweep it up really good. Very easy.
Really good.
Like the teleport play from him was really on the enemy side, whereas for Pass side, he was also the same situation as Renrin.
But yeah, overall, one of the worries that I have for Detonation Focus Me is that we've seen a lot of domination. The damage output from Paz earlier was pretty impressive. But later on during this game, once all the members of Ascension Gaming get their itemization, he'll only be limiting to providing the setups for Ascension Gaming. His damage output wouldn't be as potent as it was before as this game continues and prolongs to the greater extent here. But then again, I gotta hand it, Detonation Focus Me. The Drakes are somewhat in their favor as far as helping them topple down objectives.
I think right now at this stage, Utapon and Lloyd, they do not have enough damage. Just an AD of 143. I don't think that's enough to really chip down those tanks, but it is the Blade of Ruin King and a Ruin's Hurricane. Instead, Lloyd will be going for more defensive. He gets that Ninja Tabby, whereas Utapon will be getting the Greaves. I wonder what item will separate the build from Utapon and Lloyd. The Baron is up for grabs, and I think DFM, they don't want to give to Ascension, and Ascension, they did smite that Rift Scuttler, but I don't think that's going to be a really big setback for DFM. They are gutsy, they'll go all in, they have 2 Mountain Drakes, why not risk it? I mean, if they risk it, it would be 75-25 because of the state of the lead they have so far.
Yeah, and plus the fact that Renrin actually leaning towards the bot side, plus his teleport isn't even up yet. Probably, again, this is one of those scenarios then wherein across the board we've seen all these teams playing it safe, but sometimes, to an extent, they play it a little bit too safe that those windows of opportunity to potentially take objectives, they miss out on.
I love how Steel is going in deep enemy territory. He did say hi to Nooney, but Nooney does not like his hello. He's still standing on a ward. Vivid is there. 3 members in the side of the red side of Ascension Gaming. I think Warlock is pretty much sad with that. I don't see any stacks on his Sightstone anymore, so he will have to go back to refresh to his Sightstones.
Yeah, definitely. And
really denied a long vision though. Oh, the flash still won't be enough. It connects the stun onto G4. A very long stun teleport coming in. Gets cancelled. Second thoughts. Pressure the bot lane. Take it slow. Breathe. Ascension Gaming. They are really at their wits' end right now. I mean, DFM, they have, normally in this situation, when someone pulls a knife on you, you freeze, right?
yeah.
But right now, DFM, they're not pulling a knife. They're pulling a cleaver.
There you go. That's actually a very apt description. That's
like
actually
it's a bigger knife, and I think that scares off Ascension even more. Here it comes. Oh, that's a bad position for Steel. He does get instantly burst up by G4, but Nooney's very low. Ceres is there for the burst damage. He does take down Nooney. Warlock is very low, but a 2-max shockwave will fend them off. Vivid takes down one of the carries of Ascension Gaming, and now a flash in from Vivid. Will try and knock him out, but I think Paz sees Warlock as an easier target. That would be the ace of the game. DFM might go for the Baron.
Man, all that shouting in my head right now is DFM, DFM, and it's really working to their favor right now. Again, these are the definitive clashes that we've been talking about across the board throughout all the games that we had for day one of Rift Rivals. You know, these small fights that happened in the earlier games eventually manifesting into these huge plays, and this ultimately sets the bar a huge gold lead in favor of DFM. Let's go ahead and check out what transpired here. You know, this was a very messy fight. The problem here is that what I didn't really like about Ascension Gaming is that they were pretty nifty close to each other, and as a result, they were overwhelmed. Plus, Ren was one of the primary problems here. He was technically the carrying factor for Ascension Gaming, but he was so late into that fight at that point that what worked for them in the earlier clash that they won, they lost out on that window of opportunity again. It's just so unfortunate that that one miss out from Ren caused the entire, almost might cost them this game.
And now with the Baron in hands of DFM, Ascension is on the defense side. So this would be DFM slowly torturing Ascension Gaming with their pressure. With the Baron play, the Drake will be live in 1 minute and 25 seconds. I think this is going to be very dangerous for Ascension Gaming. One small mistake, it will cost them the game.
Man, I don't know. This is quite tricky. Again, Ascension Gaming, what they'd want to do right now, of course, first and foremost, they really need to address this Baron. Try to prolong, try to defend as hard as they can, because at this point, DFM really going to go on the offensive right now.
No, Ascension Gaming splitting up members. Steel in the bot side with Pass. They did take down the inner bot lane turret. Now aiming for the inhibitor bot lane turret. Oh, Ren trying his best. The glacial feature did get expended. That would be one ultimate down for Vivid. Nooney is very low. The turret is destroyed. The pressure is working for DFM. Ascension Gaming will have to wait out until Nooney comes back, but I think they're not gonna wait for them. Inhibitor is very low. Warlock for the place will not connect. Ren is there. Goes for Pass. He takes so much damage but escapes with the demolition standard.
Yeah, there you go. So Inhibitor down for Ascension Gaming, only going to deter them in the long run. And this really limits them because they actually had quite a number of windows of opportunity to try to get back into the game. They already had it. They were slowly building up on it. But again, that clash that resulted to an ace and a Baron take for Detonation Focus Me. That's what irks me the most for Ascension Gaming right now. That was like ultimately them losing out on their tickets to get back onto equal playing ground with Detonation Focus Me.
And I think DFM is the bullies of the playgrounds, while Ascension Gaming, they're fresh from the school, but DFM are the bigger kids. And they now have the Baron buff. And I think this third Mountain Drake might go in the hands of DFM uncontested.
Yeah, I mean, triple Mountain Drakes, plus the fact that you're exerting that much dominance onto the champions themselves, that's so much Ascension Gaming has to deal with right now that I don't even know they can at this point. Looking at the goal difference, leaning towards 11,000 to 12,000, playing between those digits right there. It's crazy at this point that if I were in Ascension Gaming shoes, I'm not really sure what I could do, because you're overwhelmed as far as these 5v5s. You're overwhelmed in terms of objective pushes, most especially capitalized on by this triple Mountain Drake. It's crazy, man. Pandemonium has been released on Summoner's Rift for both sides.
Right now, I think for Ascension Gaming's their win condition is to rely on G4. They have the really good team clash potential, but when it comes to sieging, it's pretty difficult to siege against 3 Mountain Drake buffs and a Baron that just the Baron just expired, so this gives them more opportunities. They do have the wave clear, they have the Oriana, the Varus, but at what cost? I mean, they already lost the bot lane totally to DFM.
Yeah, totally. And with everything said and done, it's just DFM just really knocking on the base of Ascension Gaming here, and I don't know how much firepower Ascension Gaming has. If anything, even the tank to even deal with such an aggressive push coming in from Destination Focus Me, because they're definitely on the offensive right now, and I don't know. It's just so much to deal with that it's scary. It's really scary to think of how Ascension Gaming could potentially defend against this, because if anything, they really need some type of major slip up from DFM to do so.
Major slip up is more of a really miracle actually from the skies, but I don't think DFM will be slipping because they have really good boots and they're wearing their fancy shoes. So for now, I think Ascension Gaming's only way to win is I think to really stick it out, because they have to really fend this off. They don't have the Baron, but the Mountain Drake, see, that's the amount of damage the Mountain Drake is doing for DFM.
Yeah, and if anything, let's say regardless of whether or
I think they're doing a pretty good job, Lloyd, especially with the shooing away paths. Oh, look at that, see? Little by little. It's about baby steps. Stack up those blights, boy, and then you snipe him with a piercing arrow. But things are looking really hard. Inhibitor turret in the mid lane gets destroyed. Same as the inhibitor. That's the last inhibitor standing. DFM says, let's take it away. This is going to be the last inhibitor exposed. Ascension Gaming backing away. They don't have enough resources yet. They will be regenerating. Renren still there sticking around, but now DFM just demolished the base of Ascension Gaming and now aims to reset it. Why go for the Baron buff?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, sure, Destination Focus Me might not necessarily have been able to finish the game yet, but then again, they're really choking Ascension Gaming, limiting them of their windows of opportunity to try to get back. If anything, I don't think that window even exists anymore at this point. Again, like we mentioned, in order for that window of opportunity to open, it's like DFM themselves have to open it for Ascension Gaming, but at this point, with almost the gold lead almost leaning towards a 15k to visit, plus the fact that across the board, Jarvan the Fourth, Rek'Sai, Quirky, Ashe, Braum, all positive, really good KDAs that we're seeing, and the fact that even though, let's say, they're able to take down Paz and Steel, they also have to deal with the backline harass coming in from both Zeros and Utapon. That, I don't know, man, it's looking
I don't
very, very
think
bleak.
they need a window of opportunity. They need a door, a garage, a bigger space for them to actually go in, because a window is not enough to fit in all the members of Ascension Gaming because they made too many mistakes in this game, because in a way that gave DFM such a good start. An ace, a Baron, and now the second Baron. 3 Mountain Drakes. Ascension should have placed Vision there. They didn't, and now this is the price they pay. And I think this will be the last stand for Ascension. If they pull this off, it's a miracle.
Yeah, the fear is definitely on Ascension Gaming right now. You know, they're just so limited to just defending their base. They couldn't really do anything across the gates of their own base at this point, and it's just crazy. You know, DFM really choked out Ascension Gaming to their last breath, and this might actually be the final stand if they can even stand.
Let's see if they'll stand, but Paz is aiming to end this really quickly with haste. Steel is at the bot side, aiming for the inhibitor. See that G4, he does have his ultimate. All summoners are up. They have all the resources ready for Ascension Gaming. Whereas for DFM, they all have everything ready. So this is a matter of how they clash. It's very important. And Session Gaming not giving up yet. They are warding off the members of DFM, especially this mid wave. They have a really good wave clear. So far, let's see how things turn out. Slowly but steadily, DFM, they are letting the minions do the work. But one small trigger will make Ascension Gaming go all in. But they are going it slow. They're just giving the next turret. Here comes the collapse from Paz. Too many Cataclysm trapped in. Unipod is going to be free hitting. Luna Flash is in. Explosive cast, but not going to be too much. And Shockwave does not land onto Unipod. He flashed away. But now the Nexus is exposed. Ascension Gaming has lost the game to DFM. DFM securing the victory in the last game of today's Rift Rivals.
Wow, congratulations to the LJL squad. Detonation, Focus Me, again, that very convincing win. If anything, Ascension Gaming just didn't know what to do at that point. They were, again, it's such a shame because they were slowly building up for a recovery, but that one clash when they got aced.
Look at him, pretty happy. Pass, he actually deserves that, especially Steel. I gotta say, they really played a really good game, especially this is LJL's second seed, one of the really younger teams entering the League of Legends Worlds right now, the community. So this is actually a really good exposure for them. Look at that, good sportsmanship, handshakes for all. And I gotta say, this is a convincing victory for LJL's second seed. Detonation, Focus Me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to how LJL will generally proceed towards Rift Rivals. Again, I'm quite honored to be part of being able to witness what unfolds because, again, like we mentioned, this is a great opportunity to scout out what the regions have to offer. And I gotta say, LJL definitely not disappointing. If anything, very impressive performance. Even not just LJL, but across the board for all regions. Really good games.
Really good games, but this is just day one, guys. We still have more days to come. Day 2 will be tomorrow. Stick around for that. But here are the standings so far. To sum up, a really very spicy, hot day in the first day of the Rift Rivals with Gigabyte Marines sitting at 1 point, Dire Wolves 1 point, 1 win, 1 loss, Ascension Gaming 1 loss, Detonation Focus Me 2 wins, 2 points, Legacy Esports 1 loss, Mineski 1 loss, Unsold Stuff Gaming 1 win, 1 point, Sin Gaming has yet to play in this day 1. We'll see them perform in day 2 and hope that this is just the start of the Rift Rivals. Very exciting, and I hope you enjoyed it today. I am Vulcan, your shoutcaster for the last game. This is Arctic, and we have been your shoutcasters. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. See you tomorrow for Rift Rivals.